Welcome back for yet another MathCelebrity.com video. Today we're talking about divisibility rules for the numbers 2 through 11. And I'm going to walk you through step by step each number, how to find divisibility rules. Now first, what does divisibility mean? It answers the question, can we divide a number by another number for divisibility? We'll call it D. And can we get an integer for a result? And we're going to review the rules for the numbers 2 through 11, all divisibility rules. Let's start with divisibility rule for 2. A number is divisible by 2 if the last digit of the number ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Well, basically the even numbers, less than 10. So let's test a number. Is 120 divisible by 2? The answer is yes, since the last digit of the number, which is 0, is in this set of numbers, 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Let's check another number. Is 121 divisible by 2? The answer is no, because the last digit is not 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. It's 1. Now, let's walk through the divisibility rules for 3. A number is divisible by 3 if the last digit of the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. So we've got a few steps to review here. First, is 375 divisible by 3? First, we take the sum of the digits, which is 3 plus 7 plus 5, which is 15. And the next test we need to do is the sum of the digits, which is 15, divisible by 3. And the answer is yes, because 15 divided by 3 is 5. Once again, you take the sum of the digits of your number, and then you see if that sum is divisible by 3. If the sum is divisible by 3, then your number is divisible by 3. How about 121? It's not divisible by 3 since the sum of the digits 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. And 4 divided by 3 is a decimal. Well, this is an easy two-step process for you to check divisibility by 3. Let's move on to 4. How can we tell if a number is divisible by 4? We know this if the number formed by the last two digits of your number is divisible by 4. Now, if your number doesn't have two digits or it's less than two digits, you just take the full number. Let's check 120. It's divisible by 4, and here's why. The last two digits are 2 and 0, which make 20. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. Since it's an integer, 120 is divisible by 4. What about 121? It's not divisible by 4 because the last two digits, 21, divided by 4 equals 5.25, and that is not an integer. So to recap, take the last two digits of your number, see if it divides by 4, and that is your rule. How about 5? This is a quick rule for you. A number is divisible by 5 if the last digit of the number ends in 0 or 5. So, you take the rightmost digit of the number. Is it a 0 or a 5? If the answer is yes, it's divisible by 5. So in the case of 120, it's divisible by 5 since the last digit is 0. We'll do our 121 example. It's not divisible by 5 because the last digit is not 0 or it's not 5. Let's check 6. 6 is a two-part rule. A number is divisible by 6 if it's divisible by 2 and it's divisible by 3. So let's walk through this. What you're going to do is you're going to run your divisibility test for 2. Then you're going to run your divisibility test for 3. If they both pass, the key word is both, then the number is divisible by 6. If only one passes or none pass, it is not divisible by 6. Now let's move on to 7. 7 is probably the most involved rule out of the 2 through 11, so I'm going to take this a little bit slower. Take the last digit of the number you're testing and double it. Subtract this number from the rest of the digits in the original number. If the new number is either 0 or it's a number that's divisible by 7, then your number is divisible by 7. If you can't tell if the new number is divisible by 7, repeat step 1 with a smaller number until you get there. Now, if this seems like a lot to absorb, don't worry, because we have a calculator which walks you through the rules for any number. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I will show you that. But let's test one number. We want to know if 245 is divisible by 7. So what we're going to do is walk through the rules on the screen. We're going to double 5, and that gets us 10. We subtract 10 from the remainder of the number we didn't take in the doubling, which is 24. 24 minus 10 equals 14, and we know 14 is divisible by 7, because 7 times 2 is 14. So this is one example, and I know this is a lot of thinking and steps, so I'll show you the calculator at the end that can help speed up this process. With that said, let's move on to 8. How do we know a number is divisible by 8? If the number formed by the last 3 digits is divisible by 8. So if the number is less than 3 digits, you just take the entire number. Let's walk through an example. We want to know if the number 3,624 is divisible by 8. We take the 3 rightmost digits, that's 624. We divide by 8, and we get 78, which is an integer. So we know that 3,624 is divisible by 8. What about 9? A number is divisible by 9 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 9. So let's try 342. If we add up the digits, we get 3 plus 4 plus 2 is 9. And because 9 divides by itself to get 1, 342 is divisible by 9. So once again, sum the digits, see if the sum of the digits divides by 9. Let's check 10. This is a quick one. If the last number on the right, or you can say this another way, if the number ends in 0, it's divisible by 10. If it doesn't, it's not divisible by 10. So 120 is divisible by 10 since the last digit is 0. 121 is not divisible by 10 because the last digit is not 0. This is a nice one, real easy check for you guys. Finally, the divisibility rule for 11. This one is a little bit involved like 7. We're going to take the sum of the odd digits. We're going to subtract the sum of the even digits. If that sum is 0, or if that sum is divisible by 11, your full number is divisible by 11. So let's walk through 121. 121 is divisible by 11, and here's why. The odd digits, we add the 1 and a 1, we get 2. There's one even digit, which is 2. We're going to subtract the even digits from the odd digits, so 2 minus 2 is 0. We've met this condition here. Sum of the odds minus sum of the evens is 0. So 121 is indeed divisible by 11. Now, we've covered a lot. So, what if you have other numbers that you want to check divisibility by, and you either struggle with the steps or you just need some help? I've got a automated solution for you. If you're finding us first from YouTube, I'm going to put a link to the calculator in the description. If you're on the Math Celebrity site, you're probably familiar with these shortcuts. So these are ways you could type problems you can type in the search engine to run every single check we just covered on the PowerPoint. So let me give you an example. Let's break out of here. I'm going to go to this link here, which I'll put in the description in the YouTube video, and we're going to type divisibility for 50. And you type this, you just type the number you want to check divides by 2 through 11. You don't have to ask, is 50 divisible by 2? Just type divisibility for 50, and here's what's going to happen. It's going to run through and do every single check we did on the PowerPoint. So 2 through 11. So it checks for 2, checks our rules, and it works out the step-by-step work to show you if a number is either divisible, check passes, or it fails. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to 11. And then what's nice is at the end, any check that passes, it's going to put this into a nice little list for you. So the number 50 is divisible by the following numbers: 2, 5, and 10. So all you need to do if you're on Math Celebrity is just type divisibility for whatever number you want to check.